Hello, my name is SITI HAWANI BINTI JAIDI, BB215100784, and this is my presentation for BT21503, Business Ethics. Today I'll be discussing a critical issue in corporate social responsibility and governance, unethical supply chain practices. Unethical supply chain practices include child labor, unsafe working conditions, extremely low wages, and environmental abuse. These issues often occur in hidden parts of global supply chains, especially in developing nations. Industries like fast fashion, electronics, and agriculture are heavily impacted because they rely on outsourced labor and raw materials from low-cost regions. Unfortunately, cost-cutting and globalization push companies to choose the cheapest suppliers, often without checking how workers are treated. Weak regulations in developing countries also make exploitation more likely, even if laws technically exist. Let's look at two real cases in the fashion industry. First, Boohoo in the UK. In 2020, an investigation found that workers in a Leicester factory were paid as little as £3.50 an hour. This was far below the legal minimum wage and violated labor rights. The factory conditions were also unsafe. Second, Shein in China. Reports revealed that workers were forced to work 11 to 13-hour shifts without any contracts and in poorly maintained buildings. Both companies rely on unregulated third-party workshops, which are difficult to monitor. After public backlash, retailers like ASOS and Next stopped selling Boohoo products temporarily. In the food industry, Nestle has faced repeated criticism for child labor in its cocoa supply chain. Over 1.5 million children work in cocoa farms in Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire, often doing dangerous tasks like using the machetes. Despite creating the cocoa plant to promote ethical sourcing, Nestle struggles to control all the small farms and middlemen in their supply chain. Because the supply chain is so complex and multi-layered, monitoring and enforcing ethical practices is extremely difficult. As a result, legal challenges and public pressure continue. These unethical practices affect many people and groups. Businesses risk brand damage, boycotts, and lawsuits. For example, Boohoo lost $1 billion in market value in just 2 days. Workers suffer the most, often underpaid, overworked, and unsafe. Consumers are misled by fake ethical branding. When the truth comes out, trust is broken. Society and the environment are also harmed by pollution, poverty, and inequality. It's a global issue with long-term consequences. We can apply 3 ethical theories to understand this issue better. Utilitarianism says it's unethical because more people suffer than benefits. Deontology focuses on duty. Companies must protect human rights regardless of cost. Virtue ethics says ethical leaders must act with honesty and compassion. Personally, I believe that businesses should be led by values like fairness, integrity, and responsibility. Profit should never come at the expense of people's dignity or environmental sustainability. To fix these problems, I propose 6 recommendations. First, use blockchain or RFID to trace every step in the supply chain. Second, conduct third-party audits and get certified by bodies like Fairtrade or SA8000. Third, train suppliers instead of cutting them off. Help them to improve. Fourth, use ESG metrics when evaluating suppliers, not just cost. Fifth, educate consumers with transparent labels and ethical campaigns. Last, support international laws and cooperation to raise global standards. These actions can build ethical supply chains that are both responsible and sustainable. In conclusion, unethical supply chain practices are a serious issue. Companies like Shein, Boohoo, and Nestle show that even big brands can be involved in unethical behavior. Ethical theorists all agree, exploitation is wrong. Leaders must act with transparency and integrity. Ethical supply chains are no longer optional. They are essential for a fair and sustainable future. Thank you for listening.